Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Are electronic voting machines tampered with? If they are not, then why are the governments of the day, and I am not talking about this government, even the previous government, insisted that they should go with electronic voting machine? Why do government insist on electronic voting machine? Let's get right into the show and try and find out. So electronic voting machines was introduced in India way back in 1982, by the way. It was introduced in a by-election in Parvur in Kerala, and this machine was used, but the Supreme Court disqualified that elections. The Supreme Court discarded that election and the election had to be redone because the Supreme Court said that we don't recognize this machine. This was 1982. So from 1998 to 2001 is when, in a phased manner, electronic voting machines or EVM was introduced in India. Now, it's very ironical. It is very ironical because the government of the day insisted on EVM, and the opposition always said that EVM is cheating hota hai. Always. Okay, this was true when Congress was in the government. And when L.K. Advani, that is the Bharatiya Janata Party leader, said that cheating hota hai, EVM mein cheating hota hai. Now, Bharatiya Janata Party is the government and the opposition says EVM mein cheating hota hai. So, the question I want to ask tonight is exactly why is that the government wants EVM. Every government wants EVM and every opposition doesn't. Why is it so convenient for the government? And why are every opposition viewing, or wo saas bhi kabhi bahu thi wala types? You know, the opposition today was a government yesterday, no? So why is the opposition viewing this with suspicion, and why is the government actually insisting on EVM? This is what we will discuss. Now, before I get into Supreme Court and what Supreme Court said today, what Supreme Court said on the 16th of April, and what Advocate Prashant Bhushan said, before all that, let me tell you some basic fundamentals. You see, democracy is about all of us feeling that we have a right to vote. Democracy is about all of us feeling that our vote or our opinion, in this case, vote is your opinion, isn't it? Vote is your choice, isn't it? So our choice count. That is what democracy is based on. If even one person in our country feels that, yaar, mera vote barabar nahi hua tha, you know, my vote was cheated, they cheated with my vote, we are a flawed democracy. Because that's the spirit, the soul of democracy is lost, isn't it? Even if one person feels that. Now, let me give you some basic fundamentals before I get into, like I said, the Supreme Court and all that. We have roughly around 3 million EVM machines. Now, they say for 2024 elections, we are going to deploy 5.5 million EVM machines. Number is not really important. What is important is if these EVM machines are picture perfect, everything is correct, then we should be saying that this EVM follows Sigma 6 level, which is a very decent level to say that, boss, this machine cannot have any errors. If we are following the Sigma 6 level, then according to Sigma 6 level, 3.4 machines per million machines, 3.4 machines per 10 lakh machines can show error. ठीक है, it is understood. इतना होता है. 3.4 machines per million per 10 lakhs. Which means if I go by the earlier figure, which is 3 million, you can have around 10 machines which shows error. And if you go by the current figure, which is 5.5 million, you can say that you can have around 16 to 17 machines that shows error. Understandable. Out of 55 lakh machines. But is that the fact? Is that the fact? Errors almost comes from every city. Every city talks of some problem or another, haven't it? So then, the basic fundamental is what I'm questioning. Malum hai error ho raha hai. It is more than 3.4 machines per million. We are not following Sigma 6 standards. Then why are we allowing substandard products to be distributed, to be used? Question number one. Now let us go to our courts and let us go to Prashant Bhushan. See, Prashant Bhushan has been asking these three questions predominantly. He's been basically talking about three factors. One is the electronic recording of voters' choice in EVM does not meet the criteria of vote being verified as recorded as cast, as the voters only verifies the VVPAT. VVPAT ka full form also, let me tell you. VVPAT stands for Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail. So what he's saying, Baba, I am pressing for one particular party, and I can see that VVPAT for some time and then it goes. So what verification that what I pressed exactly is what the machine recorded, and that's exactly what was in the VVPAT. That is the first question that Prashant Bhushan asks. The second question he says is there is no way for any voters to verify that their individual vote has actually been counted as recorded, because there is no procedure provided by the ECI, Election Commission of India, for them to match the VVPATs that they have verified are being recorded as cast. Now again, same thing. I put the vote. Kaisa malum hai you have counted? Chalo, all that VVPAT aaya, sab aaya. Lekin how do I know that my vote is counted? I must have pressed, the light came, that VVPAT came, but vote is not counted. How do I know it is counted? How do I know? How do I know my numbers are actually there when you say this particular candidate got 25,000 votes? I am one of that 25,000. How do I know? That's the point number 2. The point number 3 is that Rule 56D 4B, as incorporated through the Section 66A of the Conduct of Election Rules 1961, itself provides that the count of VVPAT shall prevail over the count reflected in the EVMs, which is statutory admission acknowledging that it is finally the VVPATs that which accurately captures the will of the voters, and the variance, error, malefides in the result captured in the EVMs cannot be ruled out. He says, according to Rule 56D 4B under the 66A of the Conduct of Election Rules, he says, भैया देखो ऐसा है कि even the rule says that it is the VVPAT that is finally counted. So even the system believes that यार you don't know कि हम प्रेस करेगा एक को, वोट जाएगा किसी और को. I press for one particular party, the vote will go for some other party. It is finally the thing that I see that okay, I pressed for this particular party, I see that party symbol down, and then it goes. That is what is counted, because that I saw. I said that okay, this is what I pressed for, this is what I got. That's what Prashant Bhushan says. By 3 criteria you are not meeting. So how can VVPAT be used? Now there is another problem. Another problem is that, you see, in Kerala, interesting, isn't it? 1982, first VVPAT used in Kerala, and the first big problem now starting with Kerala. Now, in Kerala, Prashant Bhushan cites a report published by Malayalam Manorama Online. The complaint raised against the mock polls conducted on the EVM in Kasargod constituency in Kerala. As per the report, both the Left Democratic Front, that's the LDF, and the UDF, that is the United Democratic Front, have complained to the district collector that at least 4 electronic voting machines erroneously registered votes in favor of BJP. Both LDF and UDF, they are the 2 major groups. LDF predominantly are the left parties, UDF is Congress and his allies. Both of them said, nahi, ye sab pura BJP ko vote jata hai. There are more votes registered for BJP when they conducted mock trials. This went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, based on what was presented to them, has asked, a bench of Justice Sanjiv Khanna and Dipankar Datta has asked the government to check this up. They said, Baba, you check it up and get back to us. Now, mind you, 16th April ko, the same Supreme Court, that is Justice Khanna, had said that we are in our 60s. We all know what happened when there were ballot papers. You may have, but we have not forgotten. This is what he had said then. Now he said, no, Baba, check. Hey, look, they are saying that if it is going to BJP, then check. The point that I am trying to make is, isn't it simple? And isn't it prudent? And isn't it actually the job of the government, the job of the election commission, to ensure that every voter feels safe. Every voter feels that, listen, jahan maine dabaya, wo udhar vote gaya. The button I press, I got that particular party got the vote. Isn't it fair? Isn't it just for me to expect that as a voter, as a citizen of this country? Why doesn't the government allow the authentication of VVPATs? That is all that a lot of opposition and even a lot of people are asking for. Just authenticate it. VVPAT ko authenticate karo yaar. Done. We are done with. Because every box that one asks for to ensure that it is absolutely error-free is not ticked. You are not following Sigma 6 standards, which means, like I told you, 3.4 out of 1 million. Usse zyada hai. We have heard so many stories. So you are not following any of the boxes, you are not following any of the norms. So the fact is, it is only fair that a normal citizen like me would ask, saying that, theek hai na yaar, if that requires VVPAT to be authenticated, let's do that. Let's go by the VVPAT. But somewhere down the line, this is something that the government doesn't really want to push, or the government doesn't really want to implement, and the ECI, the Election Commission of India. I was speaking to Mr. Madhav Deshpande, and Mr. Madhav Deshpande had, in my interview, told me categorically that he has written, he's a expert, he's a software expert. He has been working with a lot of countries. Like I said, an absolute expert in software. He's been writing to ECI, asking them, listen, you know what? Let us work on a software which will safeguard, which will ensure that there is no error in VVPAT. But he says that the Election Commission has been opaque. Election Commission has not been responding. The same way Commodore Lokesh Batra told me that the Election Commission has, in my interview, again, 9 o'clock, I do these interviews, they're really good. If you have the time, do watch it. 9 o'clock live, I normally do it on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Fridays. These interviews, Commodore Batra had told me that, you see, he has been writing to Election Commission about electoral bonds. Earlier on, they used to respond. Then they became absolutely non-responsive. Absolutely non-responsive. Opaque. No transparency. Why is our Election Commission opaque? Why is our Election Commission not transparent? Why is our Election Commission not listening to us? And why is the Election Commission not listening to the people for a change? Listen, by all the data, poll, and all, BJP seems to be doing well. So why do you need to even have a aspersion cast that, array, you all won because of EVM? Why do you want to do that if you think you are going to win? Simple thing. Let's have VVPAT authentication. Simple, clean. That's the point I make, because end of the day, as a citizen, I need to be sure that my vote goes to the party that I've casted my vote for. That's the point I wanted to make. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.